it's completely safe, no issues at all. It's as it always has been.
Welcome back. As we earlier said, our second segment is going to be talking about communication, dialogue and skills, the different skills that are supposed to be provided to be able to attain a career, to be able to attain, to be able to go through anything successful, any successful project. Of course, it couldn't be something in your practical life, it could be your social life, it could be anything, it could be raising children. You're supposed to be provided with the skills. If you do not have that skills, you could be trained. You could meet someone who can get the best out of you. Sometimes people have their skills and they don't discover it unless they meet other people who can help them get this out of them. And to be able to discuss that, we're very delighted to have with us Dr. Alia Al-Dardiri. She's career development coach. Good morning, Dr. Dardiri. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Fine.
A very good morning to you. And as Dina said, everything would start with words. Everything would start with a dialogue. And first, do we have kinds of dialogue? I mean, should my dialogue, my tone, my everything differ whenever I'm speaking with this one rather than the other?
Yes, this is a very smart question. And I love the introduction that you made, Dina, because communication is not only in formal pathways. It's not only about words. It's even about your tone of voice, as you have just said, Noreen. And it's about your what we call nonverbal signals.
Yes.
The nonverbal signals include the gestures of the body, your tone of voice, the speed you express your words with. So in order to start, we can first start by defining what communication is.
Yeah.
Communication differs from conversation because conversation is merely the process of exchanging words. So, for example, we are now having a conversation because you are saying some words and I, in return, saying other words. But communication is a more advanced and more in-depth process that aims to transfer thoughts and transforming these thoughts into action. So this is why I need, as a sender of the message, I have to be very clear about what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
And I have to use several approaches, like Dina said, the skills of communication, in order to successfully deliver the message to you. And you, as a receiver, you need to listen attentively, because the problem with the community, or the problem that we face either with colleagues at work or our partner, our children, is that we listen when they talk only to reply. And this is a mistake, because we need to listen in order to understand. Like Stephen Covey said, seek first to understand and then to be understood. So when you listen to someone, you are now receiving the message. You should first of all listen with the intention of understanding the other person. And if you do not understand something, or maybe you question one of the things that I've just said, you have to validate. So did I understand you in a correct way? Do you mean so and so? And then give yourself some time to process and to understand whatever I'm trying to tell you. But what we do is that we listen and we are formulating the reply inside our head even before you finish whatever you are saying. So as a sender, you have a role, a big role in ensuring the successful delivery of the message by, as I said, by using the right words, by using the right nonverbal signals, the tone of voice, the speed of voice, the pitch. And also you have to be attentive to the mood of the receiver. because the receiver might not, at this moment, might not be accepting whatever you are saying. And this is the problem when we want to ask our parents to help us in something, or when a wife asks her husband to do something at a time when he is stressed or tense because of work, and then he replies in a way that annoys her. So this is a totally ineffective communication.
What you're saying, Dr. Alia, is saying to what extent dialogue is important, that it may ruin lives.
Of course.
And here I'm not only speaking about personal lives, it can ruin a career. Because if we cannot talk, then we cannot communicate, then we will never be able to understand each other.
Yes.
Regarding this, is this a talent or some skills? I mean, is it something which I'm born with, or something which I should acquire and develop? And how I should know that I have this advantage, I'm going to say, or I'm going to describe it this way.
Okay. So first of all, it's not a talent.
Okay.
It's a skill that you learn to acquire. And like Dina said in the very beginning, you learn to acquire it by practicing. But first of all, I say stage 0, or the most important and crucial step, is that you be aware of your own communication style. And how is this done? By asking people for feedback and even observing the success of your messages.
Yeah.
So for example, if everyone around you says that we cannot communicate with her efficiently, then definitely the problem is not with everybody else.
Yeah.
So now I have to be attentive to this. And yes, if from a career point of view, if you do not know how to communicate, then you are losing. You are the very first person to lose, because you will not be able to express yourself. You will not be able to express your needs. And accordingly, you will not be receiving the things that satisfy these needs. And accordingly, you feel always stressed, failing in delivering whatever you want, and failing to receive whatever you want.
Actually, you've raised a very important point, which is failing to communicate. That's what, and in addition, in return, you're going to fail to receive what you want.
Yes.
This could be a problem of like 70% of the people, of human beings, because these are skills. People are talented in doing this. There are people who know how to communicate, they know how to address, they know how to manage a dialogue. Other people are introverts, or are shy people, or are very limited with their verbal skills, and that's why they are unable to orchestrate a dialogue, and that's why they are never able to receive what they want.
Yes.
But though that they're excellent people, they might be much, much more better than other people who could be shallow from inside.
Yes.
So how can anyone manage this? Because this could be a major problem for men.
Yes, this is very sad when you put it this way, and it's very true, because sometimes people who are much, much more skilled than others fail to express themselves, and accordingly they fail to present themselves efficiently. But
Where is
again,
the defect in that?
Again, it's a skill. It's a skill that you should learn, and you should first of all know that you need it. Some people say, no, this is my communication style, I was born this way, and accordingly I cannot change it. Even the change is, people who think they are unable to change, this is a complete limiting belief. Anyone can acquire the skills of effective communication, but first you have to admit that, okay,
sometimes
I
it's
need
not
help.
that they're unable to change. They know that they can change. They're not rejecting change, but they don't know how. They don't understand where is the defect. Why are people seeing me like that? They can see the good in me.
Yes. As I've told Nermeen a while ago, if everyone around me is telling me that they cannot communicate with me, then I do have a problem. So I have to stand still for a moment, think what I can do better, or what the problem is. And if I cannot identify it, then again, this is the role of my colleagues and myself in helping others to gain and acquire these skills. Once you gain these skills, you have to practice them. And again, you have to have the sensory acuity of seeing what resulted in your change of style. So for example, if I'm communicating in a way, I can see the results, and if I change this way, definitely I should see the change in the results. So if the results are being better, then yes, I'm on track. If nothing is changing, then I'm not doing it the right way. So, as you said, Dina, people sometimes are incapable of changing themselves. Yes, they can believe in the change itself, they can believe they can acquire these skills, but they do not know how. But the real problem is with people who believe, no, I cannot change. This is very critical.
And at least people who preferred not to have a challenge. I mean,
Yes.
if I am graduated from the school of example, I prefer to stay in a lab and not to deal with people, because these are my talents or my capabilities, and I'm very much satisfied with that, so there's no problem. But let me raise another point. To what extent it's something psychic, and to what extent raising my child at home in a way that he or she would be brave enough to communicate or to say his or her point of view or opinion would matter in the future. I mean, if I'm going to raise a self-confident person and to let him or her express his or herself, saying whatever she likes in a proper way, then she is going to lead a proper life with the proper communication skills. If you agree with me on that.
I totally agree. I cannot agree more, because of course raising what we call nurture, nurturing your child with the confidence from the very early years of their lives are very critical. Because for example, let's imagine that you are suppressing your child, and whenever he expresses something, you say, no, this is wrong, or you shouldn't be doing this, or you are grounded. Then you are giving him a subliminal or indirect message that, no, you cannot express yourself. And let's agree on something, that we are all humans and we all make mistakes. So if I make a mistake and I tell you, you being for example, my parent, and then you blame me big time for doing this, then again I will not be telling you whenever I make a mistake. So for example, if I made something wrong, or I failed, or I did something wrong, you as a parent should encourage me to tell you about it, and then you should discuss it with me, not judging. But because we as parents usually judge our children, so they get the message that, no, you cannot express yourself clearly, you shouldn't be exploring the world in your own way. And accordingly they become very introvert, as you said, not because they do not want social interaction, but because they believed from the very early years in their lives that social interactions would bring problems, would bring mistakes that I would be blamed for.
Usually that's the case. But do you think that confidence could be a medicine sometimes, or remedy for, I mean, in cases, especially in cases of bringing up kids, if you boost confidence, even in the worst negative moments, in failures, in education, failure in social life, in whatever challenges the child might meet. In drastic moments, dramatic moments, and personal failures in the child's life, do you think if I boost confidence instead of the right thing I'm supposed to do, which is judgment? So do you think this is going to affect any change?
I would.
How much of a percentage?
I would disagree slightly, because judging is not the complete opposite of boosting self-confidence. I boost self-confidence to my child when I want them to express themselves clearly and to be brave enough to admit their mistakes. But judging is wrong, because now this is a tricky part. When you judge something, you judge it based on your own beliefs, right? Then who said that your beliefs are the right thing? Maybe it was the beliefs of your parents that they, in a way, enforced you to believe in, and now you are enforcing your child to believe in as well. This is, I know it's a bit tricky, but you have to be very attentive that you as a human being, you can be wrong. Your beliefs can be outdated, for example.
Yeah.
And this is the problem with the generations communicating. Whatever my parents used to believe in may not be suitable for me to believe in nowadays. And now I am exposed to things that my parents have never been exposed to. So my
Then what
beliefs-
are values? If
this is
if things are relatively
Yes.
from one to the other, then what are the standard values?
okay.
Is there any difference between, I mean, the beliefs and values?
Of course, there is a big difference. There is a big difference. Beliefs are things that are embedded inside you that are not for negotiation or are not for discussion. So, for example, you believe there is a God, and nothing would happen that make you question this fact, right? So this is a belief. But values are like the benchmark that you measure each and every action upon. So, for example, I value honesty. So whenever someone talks to me or lies to me, now this is against my value, then this person is not the kind of person I want to deal with. So values, as I said, are your benchmark that control all your actions. We actually, sometimes I have some clients in the coaching sessions who are not aware what their values are. So let me ask you, for example, Dina, did you ever give yourself the chance to think about what my values are, and you wrote them down or you have them somewhere, and then you judge each and every situation in your life upon? We usually don't do this. Yes, honesty is good, lying is bad, theft is bad, helping others is good. But do you really value this thing? Some people do not. So again, you should first of all identify your personal values, and you should respect the values of others, even if they are different than yours, because we are different people.
Accepting the other.
Yes.
This is a
Yes.
very important point which we can say thank you with.
Thank you.
Dr. Alia, thank you very much for your input.
Thank
Have
you,
a
my
very good
pleasure.
day.
You too. Thank you.
And I guess this brings us to the end of this edition of The Breakfast Show. Many thanks to you, Narveen Abdulrahman.
See you tomorrow,
That was a
inshallah.
beautiful-
We are going to be with you, the same crew, only on
Many
Nile TV
thanks to Aliat
International.
Dardiri.
Thank you.
And it's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much. Stay tuned only on Nile TV International, always for more.